The next question is an audience question that came in on break that we are taking. And this one it starts with Mr. Lane, and it's for all of you to answer. Would you consider banning the mRNA vaccine in Iowa? Any mRNA vaccine in Iowa?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. 100%. Let me just say, I've already signed. I was maybe the first signer of the pledge to pull the COVID shots off the market. We know they're unsafe. We know about the myocarditis. We know about pericarditis. We understand that we cannot trust the medical establishment anymore. They have lost our trust. And they have done nothing to earn it back. And so as governor, we will make sure that we're protecting Iowa's people, that parents are in charge of if their child gets a vaccine, that there's not requirements on schools for vaccination. This is up to parents. It's for them to decide. The government will stay the hell out of their business. Sorry. Oops.
Will I ban mRNA vaccines? The answer is absolutely yes. When I ran for state house, that medical freedom was the issue. What happened during COVID was horrendous. Not only did it destroy and cripple our economy in Iowa, it was dangerous on levels that we have not even understood yet. You know, my own son-in-law was a physician, and he was told, if you don't take the shot, you're going to lose your job. And he had the backbone to stand up to the hospital where he worked, and he said, well, I'm not quitting, and I'm not taking the shot, and you're going to have to escort me out on the last day. And he took a stand. And so I think they probably looked at the books and saw how much money he brought into the hospital and decided to give him a religious exemption. But all we have to do is take a stand. And so we need medical freedom. We need to make sure we have it in this state. And, you know, I'm out of time.
Thank you. Representative Andrews.
Great comment so far. Let me just say that to answer the question directly, yes. I think 3 of us have signed that pledge. I remember in the early days of COVID, it didn't take long to realize they're just lying through their teeth. And I came in as a freshman that year in 2020, and we were told we were not going to limit gubernatorial powers. We weren't going to do this. That's just off the table. And I was just shocked because I discovered through just being a research nerd that they were just lying. I looked at the data. We looked at the excess myocarditis and so on and so forth. But what I have done, I see my time running out. Let me just say 2 things that I have done. I wrote the TELL Act, which would make it a requirement that they just don't just hand out the papers, but they tell all the side effects. And number 2, it's called the Stand By Your Vaccine Act. And so even though they have national liability freedom, in Iowa, they would be forced to acknowledge liability for any vaccine injury in Iowa.
Thank you, Representative. Mr. Steen.
I mentioned that my father passed away 3.5 years ago. He was healthy as a horse. He got the COVID shot, ends up with diabetes, ends up with cancer, and now he's passed away. I would absolutely consider a ban. Absolutely. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated by that. However, we do need absolute medical freedom. We need absolute transparency in the decisions that we're making from a healthcare perspective. But let me point something out. There's somebody who's not at that podium over there from a medical freedom perspective that wants us to go to the DOT and talk about mammograms and colonoscopies before we get our license renewed. That's not medical freedom. That is Congressman Feenstra, I don't even know what his name is, Congressman Feenstra rolling in from DC with DC ideas. They're going to put us in the front lines of the lack of medical freedom. So that's what we need to defend against here all day long.